Ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're thinking. Do we need another Arsenal podcast or show? There's been a little bit of discussion about this recently. Some people say that we don't, but to them, I would say, I don't really give a. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Big Arsenal Breakfast Show, coming to you live every morning, Mondays to Fridays, 7 a.m., and weekends at 9 a.m. It's a new Arsenal Breakfast Show, that hopefully will do the news reviews, the occasional booze, but most importantly, have a little bit of Arsenal community say. So we want you to get involved. Always we want you to get involved. And you can do so by going to TikTok. We're at Big Arsenal Breakfast. Instagram is also Big Arse Breakfast. Sorry, that's TikTok, Big Arse Breakfast. Instagram, Big Arse Breakfast. Twitter, formerly XX, formerly Twitter, whichever way it is, it's at Big Arse Brecky. Thank you, character limit. And we're over on Blue Sky at bigarsbreakfast.bsky.social, blah, 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 blah. It's so long, so long. But thank you for joining us. If you're listening on to podcast, there is a podcast. I'll be out later. If you're listening via the podcast, thank you for joining us. Something maybe on your commute into work, a little Arsenal espresso shot to start the day, every day. And if you're joining us live, thank you for joining us live. That's dedication. And if you're watching us later on YouTube, also, you're never too late. That's all good. You can also email us if you like that. It's show@bigarsenalbreakfast.com. That's show@bigarsenalbreakfast.com. And hit us up in the comments in the YouTube so we can have a bit more interaction. And basically, so we've got some good stuff to talk about. Firstly, before we get into yesterday's big game at the Emirates, I should start the day probably by saying Happy St. Totteringham's Day, Boxing Day. Yeah, that's right. Yesterday was a very, very early St. Totteringham's Day, which is always good. And we'll get into the show. Let's do it. So, I don't know about you guys, but that was stressful. Oh boy, was that stressful. I think Arsenal are going to try and slowly kill us all. It'd be like our penance for supporting the club if we do win the title. But yeah, it was a tight one. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 1. Saliba from the corner on the 21st minute. Timber from the corner on the 66th minute. That was split in between by Hincapié scoring from the corner in the 47th minute or something like that. But 3 goals from corners, ole. All scored by Arsenal. Could have done without that one. Let's have a quick look at the lineups. An unchanged team from Tottenham, if memory serves. Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Capier forging the defensive line. Rice, Zubamendi, Eze, Saka, Trossard, and Gyökeres forming the attack and midfield. But most interesting thing to me, I just want to have a quick look at some of these stats. So it's 2 goals to 1, obviously. We had 12 shots. Chelsea had 9. 5 shots on target to Chelsea's 3. Possession. Wow, man. 41.3% possession to Chelsea's 58.7%, which for a team that spent half of the second half with 10 men, as Arteta alluded to later on after the game, that's a little bit disappointing. We lost a lot of that control, which I think we'll discuss when we come to the game. Successful passes, 277 again to Chelsea's 420. It tells you a lot about what we did with the ball, not a lot. Long balls were 43 to 47. Corners won were 5 to 10. And I thought there's a stat here that I want to show. The second stats. Offsides, 0 to 1. Interceptions, I thought was interesting. We made 5. Chelsea made 12. And what does that tell you? What does that tell you about how we were playing in that game? I can't work that out. I'm not a tactico, I must admit. Full disclosure, I'm not a tactico. I would say that basically we just gave the ball away too many times. We gave the ball away too many times, and whether we were trying to play more vertically, I don't know. But if we were, it wasn't really working so well. Fouls conceded 11-14, yellow cards 1-3, red cards most importantly because Chelsea have an absolutely horrendous disciplinary record was 0-1. Player ratings. Now, on the Big Ass Breakfast Show, I have to say, I'm not one for really making my own ratings. I know you're all probably going to be disappointed with that. You're thinking, Eddie, why are you not making player ratings? That's what we come here for. I don't think you do. So I've gone with FotMob. Now, FotMob, theirs is purely objective and it's calculated by an algorithm that takes into account like 300 different Opta stats. And I think it's just a good base place to start from when it comes to player ratings, personally. And then we can discuss them around it. I quite like the idea of using a bit more statistical based player ratings. But that's not to say that I don't want to hear from you about what you think your ratings would be, because as we go through these, even I'm going to be like, what? They gave him what? I thought they're better than that. So we'll start at the back. Raya, 8.1. Yeah, mega saves throughout the game. Commanded the box as best he could with all his corners he was facing, with the exception of one. Hincapié, 5.8. Yeah, scored no goal. Was caught in possession a few times, out of place a few times. Gabriel was solid, 8.2. Saliba, 7.8. Yeah, agreed. Timber awarded man of the match, 8.3. He was up and down that line. What a difference it makes when he has a break, eh? What a difference it makes when he has a break. Oh, hang on a minute, guys.
This broadcast has been interrupted due to technical difficulties likely caused by a cat. Normal programming should resume shortly.
We're back. Just had a few technical difficulties here at the Big Ass Breakfast Show. It's not like you can launch a brand new show without having some teething problems. Yeah, basically my cats were being annoying. They weren't. They're lovely. I love them. So where did we get to? Timber, man of the match. Zubimendi at 7.2, looked a bit gas. 7.8 for Rice, who came off with some sort of problem. Arteta spoke about it after the game. I don't know how serious that is. Hopefully it's not that serious. Trossard on a 6.5. Eze with a 6.8. Saka with a 7. Let's just talk briefly about Trossard. I thought he was, again, fairly ineffective. We seem to be back in that ever cycling loop of should it be Martinelli or Trossard or Martinelli, because Martinelli came on. I thought he played quite well. He got a 6.4 here, but I thought he was more effective than that. He certainly caused the red card for Neto. So for me, I thought he was good and has to be a shout to start the next game on the left, because quite frankly, Trossard looks a little out of sorts. He's great technically, rarely gives the ball away, but I do wonder if it's time maybe to try Eze on the left again. To be discussed. What do you think? Let me know in the chat, comments, online. Gyökeres, 6.3. Yeah, pretty ineffective, wasn't he? He's back to that kind of not releasing the ball to him early enough kind of stage. And also not quite winning his duels well enough. We'll come to the so-called penalty, but I thought he laboured again. But what does that mean? Well, looking at the table here, for those that are listening, Arsenal on top, 5 points clear of Manchester City with 64 points, with a goal difference of 36. I think that's key. There's 4 goals difference there to Man City's 59 points on a goal difference of 32, but they do have that game in hand, which will take a while to reconcile, because that's not happening until, I think, is that in mid-March? But this is against Crystal Palace. And that's not for a way away. So it's going to look like that for a little bit, I think. Or it's certainly going to look like that in terms of the games played. So obviously we'll keep an eye on that. After the game, Mikel said, incredible performance. He said the players made an incredible performance as well and put so much into the game. After that great victory against Spurs, this would be even another level of difficulty, which is right. I think Chelsea are an infinitely better team than Spurs are. That goes without saying. Against 10 men, I expected a different game. Didn't we all, Mikel? We really did. He said, look at the quality on the pitch, immense, but set pieces are still the ones that made the difference. They are so good at that, and we are so good at that as well. Yes, we are. And then on Declan Rice being substituted, he was feeling some discomfort and he needed to be substituted. Yeah, yeah. Keep an eye on that. Hopefully, nothing too serious. So, going to run through the game, some notes I made as I was watching with my pen shaking and an absolute quivering wreck throughout most of it. I thought we started quite well. Excuse me. Started quite well. It was a nice move. In the 7th minute on the left with Zubamendi ended it blades and over. Saar then had quite a clear-cut chance to score from a corner. Palmer was getting a lot of space early on, which was a little bit worrying, but that seemed to get closed down more towards the end of the second half. Then obviously we got the goal, 21st minute. It was a set piece again, ole ole. A little bit of pinball wizard at the back there. Gabriel, I mean, that ball in from Saka. Ooh, the arc on that. That's the sort of cross you put in, and it looks like we've got like gale force winds going because it swang so late to the back post. It was an absolute beaut. Gabriel plays it back into the danger zone. Saliba flicks it on. There was some talk about it being an own goal. It's not. It's Saliba's goal. It was great. Then we had that wobble moment. Zubamendi. Oh, my days. I think my bum jumped up into my heart. Zubamendi with like an absolute hospital ball back to Raya. Had to boot it clear in the 31st minute. And you're starting to think again, it's like, can we not please eradicate this Bozo Gene? Can we not have some sort of, is there no vaccine or inoculation or surgery we can have to remove the Bozo Gene? We need some sort of technology to get rid of that because that was incredible. We nearly effed it up immediately afterwards again. Yeah, there was maybe a penalty in the 44th minute. I've had a look at this. I think he does actually foul him. I'm not screaming and yelling for it. I think if it was at the other end against us, this is Gyökeres. I think, honestly, he just clips his foot before he gets the ball. We've seen PGMOL make up all sorts of decisions on instances like this. I'm not raging about it. I don't think it's a nailed-on pen. I don't feel like we were robbed. But as ever with PGMOL, you don't know what they're doing from one week to the next, and you think to yourself, I've seen that given. I've seen you scrutinize that for 19 minutes whilst we all have to sit in the stands, like waiting forever for you to make a decision on something that most people wouldn't care about. So no, I'm not raging about it, but actually I do think it was a penalty. I mean, you know, by their standards. And then of course, I think was it Raya to make a save off of Declan Rice's header from the corner shortly afterwards, and then there was the penalty decision again. Like Man City got away with one in quotes the other day against Leeds. We got away with one. I don't like the handball rule as it is anyway. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not sure there's much Declan can do about that. There is a discussion so that he's grappling and holding him. Yeah, again, fine. If that's a penalty, then give it, but give it for every single corner tussle in the whole of the Premier League every weekend. And that's, again, the problem with PGMO is the consistency, and we hate them for it because they can't get it right. And then you see the own goal on the 47th minute, you think to yourself, how on earth have we gone into the break? Like 1-1. We had so many good situations in that first half to extend that lead, and we just, for whatever reason, couldn't do it. And that's quite maddening. We looked a little bit, we lacked some serious creativity in those final moments, and that's a little bit of a concern going forward. Second half, wow. I mean, I felt like I wrote a note here saying on the 54th minute we need to transform the game. It felt like it was drifting already. And then Martinelli came on pretty much straight away. Reece James was whipping in dangerous crosses, which was quite nerve-wracking at time. The referee blowing on some breakaways. Oh my God. Oh my days. Darren England. I mean, I just don't understand it. Like, didn't we have this thing this year or last year, let the game flow? That never happened in this game. There's so many chances for a breakaway, and the ref just blew up like, no, I'm going to pull it back. And we talk about these games being lacking in flow and lacking creativity, especially all this talk around the set pieces and slow build up and all that sort of stuff. And certainly Arsenal suffer with a little bit of that slow build up. But on those opportunities that we had to break away, to create that excitement, to see that sort of football that all people want to see, refs like, no, we're going to pull it back. Thank you very much. And the crowd goes mental. It's just really, really odd refereeing. I wanted Havertz earlier. I know he was kind of ineffective during the game. I think the game state had changed. Chelsea had better possession when they went down to 10 men, but I want to see him a bit earlier. But nonetheless, we did get the goal, 66 minute. Corner ball rules. We're not doing football anymore. We're doing corner ball, as is evident across the Premier League. Apparently, Arsenal to blame for this. I don't really know how, but we are. But we get the goal. And then shortly afterwards, Martinelli on a breakaway. Yeah, on a breakaway, like we're discussing, letting the game flow. Gets a red card, draws a second yellow card out of Neto, and he gets sent off. Now, I don't know the rules for this. I haven't had a look. I've got to be honest. Haven't had a look. Haven't had time. I don't know what the rules are for this, but could he have not let the play continue? Because Martinelli gets up with an impetus to go and charge down into the box and get across him. Ref blows up immediately, pretty much, when Martinelli's on his way. I don't know if he can let that play and call the yellow card back for the foul. I think he can. And again, if the referee had just an ounce of common sense, that's what he would have done. So then Havertz and Norgard came on. I thought Norgard played quite well, actually. I'm not going to lie. I thought he had a good game. And we should see more of him in those game states. I hope that obviously Declan Rice isn't injured, but if he is, then I really do think that there's space for Norgard to affect these games a bit more. I don't know what Mikel is not seeing in him in training or in life in general, but it seems like we signed a pretty decent Jorginho replacement and we never play him. We never ever use him. I'd like to see more of that. Eze wasted a chance in the 79th minute. Caicedo had a pot shot from distance late on. Foul throw. What's that all about? Not even. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I really don't know what it was. I have nothing to say about that. I'd have to see it again, but I don't know why it's a foul throw. Delap. I mean, this is the point. So I've got some notes here, like up to the 90th minutes. It's just like, Chelsea, which is a concern. I don't know how we've lost that control. I don't know how we don't need to manage that game. What I do know is that with Chelsea is, even when we played them at Stamford Bridge, of all the teams that could go down to 10 men and still remain a threat, I think they're pretty darn good. I have to give them credit for that. In the Premier League, because they're so athletic, they got a very young, sprightly, quick transition team. They transition really, really well. So although I'm not hugely annoyed at the fact that Chelsea had some chances, what I was annoyed about is that they had so much possession. And I think we just have to keep that ball better. We have to protect that ball much, much better, to the point where in the 91st minute, I think Delap gets played through on the right. If he puts in a first-time cross, I think they score. He carried it forward a bit more. He lost the opportunity. We managed to regroup. And then, I don't know if it was from the resulting corner of that one, but a little bit of play went on. And then Raya made as I said, arse in the mouth, like, save. I mean, like, at that point, I'd nearly collapsed to the floor and hoped that it would swallow me up whole. It's like, good God. And then the last knife in the side, thorn in the side, was the offside goal. But I must admit, I saw it. I think most people did. They saw it as offside in real time. I know Gary Neville got confused by it by going, "No, it's onside. It's onside. It's on." Oh no, it's not. It's not. No, sorry, not me. Whoops. No, it was instant offside. And then, so we won the game. So I think that's a pretty fully comprehensive recap of what actually happened in the game. But now I want to hear from you guys. This is what we're going to do every day. We want your big ass opinions every day. Apart from the two penalties you gave away, I thought that stuff was
way too dry.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The sound of that absolute Titanic guffer is the symbol or signal that we need some big ass opinions. And I want you to get involved at Big Ass Breakfast on TikTok, at Big Ass Breakfast on Instagram, at Big Ass Brecky on X, and if you're on Blue Sky, at bigassbreakfast.bsky.social. You could also email, as I said before, email us at show@bigarsenalbreakfast.com. That's show@bigarsenalbreakfast.com. And we'll get some comments read out, and we'll get some nice, friendly, humid debate going. So I've been looking around the Twitterverse last night following the game. I picked out a couple of highlights, a couple of tweets and whatnot of what people have been saying. I quite like this one from Terry Flewers. I'm sure you know Terry Flewers, who's he runs is it the Football Terrace, TFT? I think he's a pretty rational guy. I quite liked what he said here. He said, huge win for Arsenal. They weren't at their fluent best today, but once again they found a way. The mark of champions. That's what title contenders do. They win even when it's not pretty. There were massive VAR calls too, as well, with the potential Rice penalty and the Raya incident. Yeah, we've gone over that. Yeah, I mean, the penalty's not going to go over it again. Yes, maybe. I don't know. Does anyone know? We don't know what the rules are with the handball anyway. They just sort of pluck it out of thin air, the PGMOL. So, but I think he's right. I mean, there is, I mean, I've even put it in the thumbnail for the show. Is that the skank of champions? Because it did feel like in the end, we sort of skanked that win because we were playing so poorly. And it was 2 set pieces yet again that get us the goals. We didn't really look good when Chelsea went down to 10 men. And I think really we just have to have one of those moments to go take the 3 points and call it a day, which we did manage to do. So got to give us some credit for that. Miguel Delaney made the point on set pieces. Do you like set pieces? Because the Premier League has them. Yes, it does, Miguel. Yes, it does. Now, this has been the theme of the season, and of course, it's only Arsenal that use set pieces to score goals. No one else does this, hence why we're so criticised for it. Despite, I think Liverpool have now scored the most goals from set pieces this season, but it doesn't matter. Arsenal created set pieces; they are responsible for set pieces, and they are responsible for ruining the beautiful game, as I'm seeing everywhere all over my timelines and socials. But let's be honest. But this is the thing, isn't it? When you look at the games that we play in the Champions League and how different the football is, and how teams come and they try and impose their style of football on you, and how well we do with, quite frankly, countering that. I mean, people were saying we're not much of a footballing team. No, I beg to differ. Slapped up Bayern Munich at home, slapped up Atletico at home, slapped up Inter. Okay, I know Bodo did as well, but Bodo are on a hot streak of form at the moment. We won 8 out of 8 games in the Champions League. Why? Because teams try and come and play us. They do try and come and play us. Where we're struggling in the Premier League, and let's face it, people will try and say this is the worst Premier League of all time. I don't think it is. I think it's the most tactical. It's got some of the best coaches in the Premier League. There's coaches in the Premier League that when they leave their jobs, they walk into teams in other European leagues, absolutely walk into it. And I think it's just uber coach. Now, one of the key indicators of goals scored, positions that goals get scored from in the Premier League, is transitions. Everyone's worried about transitions. And then you can tell Mikel Arteta is worried about transitions, hence why we always have to play with this control element, which I know drives us a little bit mad sometimes, and I'm with it. We all want us to be a bit more, we don't want to be risk averse. We want to take some chances, and I mean, take the opportunities to play the ball forward quickly, risk losing the ball in transition. We have to trust that we can deal with those transitions, which I think for the most part we do, touch wood. But yeah, what can you say? That's what the Premier League is right now. In a couple of years' time, when people figure out how to deal with those set pieces a little bit better, or if PGMOL's change the rules, I mean, my prediction for this will be what I think they tend to do in the Champions League. I think because we don't score as many corners and set pieces, I seem to spot a trend where referees will blow up for any minor infringement almost immediately, and they basically protect themselves from having to make one of those big VAR calls. And it does happen, of course. They do have these big VAR calls, and they're looking at them all the time. But for the most part, you're thinking, I mean, how many times have you seen it in the Champions League where a ref blows up immediately for just like a tiny little shirt tug or whatever, and they absolve themselves of the responsibility of having to make those big calls? I reckon that's going to happen. I really think that's going to start to happen in the Premier League, that because there's so much crowding going on, there's so much to unpack under every single video review. I think refs are just going to blow up every time, and everyone's going to be disappointed, and then it's going to be bye-bye corner routines. That's my prediction, just saying. Opta Joe had an interesting stat. Arsenal have gone 1-0 up from a corner on 9 occasions in the Premier League this season, the joint most by a team in a single campaign, along with Southampton, 1994 to 1995. Not sure we kind of want to be in the same bracket as, no disrespect to Southampton, not sure we want to be in the sort of same bracket as them for that kind of statistic. I mean, it's good to go 1-0 up. It's great to go 1-0 up from a corner. It'd be even better to go 1-0 up from a corner and stay 1-0 up. That's my chief concern. That's why I'm puffing my cheeks. But it's a great way to open up games. As I just discussed about how tactical this league is now, how well everyone is so coached, and how much, I mean, let's be honest, it used to be back in my day when this was all fields. This was all fields back in my day. Back in my day, it was the top 4 teams that had the best players, and there wouldn't be that many teams below you that you'd go shopping for their best players. Or there'd be some, but it was normally top 4 teams had the best strikers and so on and so forth. I tell you, there's some attacking talent in the Premier League that does get into every other team. I mean, when you look at what Man United have done, which they seems to have starting to pay off a little bit now with Cunha and Bomo. There's a prime example. We should be shopping more in the Premier League, and we should be shopping more in the Premier League for Premier League talent for Arsenal. Just my humble opinion, because every team is bloody good. There are no easy games. There are just literally no easy games. I remember the title run in 2004. And I don't know if you guys remember this. I used to look at the fixture list and just go, okay, should win that, should win that, should win that. Oh, that's Liverpool. Oh, should win that, should win that. Oh, and then we got Chelsea. Okay. And now, every week, I'm like, maybe we should win it. We should be looking to win it. If you get into a title challenge, you should be looking to win it. But I don't think these games are anywhere near as simple as they used to be. Le Grove. Pedro at Le Grove, who I love. I'm a big fan of the Arsenal Opinion podcast. If you haven't listened to it, then where have you been? In a cave on Mars, surrounded by bees. They don't have bees on Mars. Shut up, Eddie. That Gyökeres performance was another reality check. Dreadful outing again. 0 shots on target. 1 block shot to his name. No chances created. He looked lost against a subpar back 4. Can't he have it? He didn't get the ball fast enough either. Yeah. I mean, I've never been on the Gyökeres is useless train, nor am I on the he's the world's greatest striker. Look what he does. He occupies space, and he's I'm not squinting or trying to be a Gyökeres apologist as such. What I will say is I don't think he ever gets enough shots off, which is where Pedro here is highlighted on X. He's not someone who wastes chance. We've had your Jovinios. You're like, how on earth have you missed that? How have you scuffed one wide from 2 yards out? What on earth is going on? So I'm not really. I just want to see him. We need to get him into positions to take shots. Okay, his movement probably needs to be better. Fine, he needs to win more of his duels. Fine, but we have to feed him. So it's half a dozen of one, 6 dozen of the other, whatever that phrase is. I've never got it right my whole life. We have to get him into positions where he can shoot. It's as simple as that. And I think we're not doing that. And I don't know why we haven't done that, because we're now into, 9 games left? We still haven't quite got a setup with Gyökeres where you start to see those patterns of how we get him released into an area where he can start taking shots. I mean, look at that goal against Tottenham. I have no doubt. Second goal as well. I don't have any doubt. His super strength, as far as I can see, is smashing the ball really hard on target. That might be his only super strength. That might be his only strength at all. It might be. But if that's the case, get him the ball early so he can smash it super hard and on target. Yeah. And then, ladies and gentlemen, to the final feature of the day in the Big Ass Opinions section. That is, of course, the
Instant Karma Take of the Day.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Instant Karma Take of the Day. What's that all about? Well, sometimes I think in the Gooniverse, we're very quick to get annoyed, pissed off, frustrated, chucking things around. If we lose a game, sometimes if we win a game, quite quick to go, we're winning it all. Who's thinking about the quadruple? Oh my God, don't say quadruple. In fact, I don't ever want to hear us say the word ever again, right? It's banned on this show, quite frankly. So instant karma take of the day is just something to just level us off a little bit, just have a little bit of foresight for the future. And this one comes from Hand of Arsenal, who I'm a big fan. If you're not following Hand of Arsenal on Twitter, again, don't know where you've been. I'm sure everyone is there, let's be honest. Who often breaks a lot of transfer news and is a really good source connected to Arsenal. I'd love to know how these guys are connected. Like, I really would. I mean, the ones that tend to prove themselves as being top tier, who do they know? How do they never get caught? I don't understand this. Like, so someone must be able to at the club go, hang on a minute, let's follow that thread. It was John. Like, someone tell me, please. Anyway, Hand of Arsenal said, it wasn't a transfer rumor. Hand of Arsenal said, Mikel won't be happy with the performance of the players, but will take the result. Business end of the season. Collect 3 points and focus on Brighton. Need to maintain the gap and test City's UCL schedule. Havertz fitness minutes are massive in the run-in. Amen. Hand of Arsenal. Hoa. Yeah, I totally agree. No, he won't be happy with the performance. I don't think any of us were happy with the performance, but a win is a win is a win is a win is a win. 3 points on the board. Moving it on. Thank you very much. Havertz fitness, yeah, definitely. We're going to need him. He started to play really well before he picked up a little injury. I hope he can regain that form quickly. Because I think, again, sometimes in attack, we just look a little bit dry. Don't we? It's like your nan's cake. No, not your nan's. It's never your nan's. Your nan's cake's normally really good. It's probably your mum's cake. I don't know. Tell me. Let me know. Put your thoughts in. Let me hear it from you on TikTok, Instagram, X. I want to know about your mum's cake. I don't know. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. First ever show done and dusted. Thank you for joining, listening, watching. You got this far? Brilliant. Thank you. If you thought it was rubbish, then that's fine. That's fine. If you're thinking this guy is really annoying, has a shit sense of humor, and is painfully unfunny, if you're thinking that, then do you know what? You might also have that friend who is annoying and shit and painfully unfunny. So at least you could go, do you know what? This might be for you, Dave. It's not for me, but it might be for you. So please spread the word. But we are going to be here no matter every morning, 7 a.m., Monday to Friday, Sunday, and Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. And we want you to join us. Thank you for joining the show. If you did like it, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would be very helpful for us as we try and grow the show out a little bit. But anyway, I hope your day goes well. There was your Arsenal espresso shot. If you're heading into the office and you're thinking, oh my God, it's a terrible day, the Arsenal won. If you're onto the building site and it's probably going to piss down with rain and you can't get the aggregates in time, just think to yourself, you know what, the Arsenal won. But we're going to be here every day. Up the Arsenal. Join us tomorrow. We'll see you then.